You've done it all. The books, the therapy, the green juice. You've whispered affirmations like your inner child depended on it. Sat on the cushion till your leg fell asleep, and yet you still feel off, like you're stuck somewhere between numb and just done. You're not broken, just maybe a little crispy. And if you're nodding along, Radically You is your 5-week exhale. It's a self-paced course designed to help you feel like you can be yourself, your real self, the one under the people-pleasing, the over-giving, the shoulds. You'll get videos, body-based practices, and magic that actually lands. Because we're not here to polish your performance. We're here to help you remember your power. Go to lakiaramethod.com/radically-you to join us and use the coupon code podcast10 to get $10 off at checkout. Hi there, Chloe here. This episode, we're trying something a little different. For the next stretch, we'll be sharing these session episodes without added commentary from me. Just the raw, real, and unfiltered pulse of the work itself. Let the sessions speak for themselves, land where they land, and stir what they stir in you. Thanks for being with us, and now let's begin. In this episode, Gabrielli has a session with Elise, who's in the midst of a spiritual rebirth. After years of defining herself by what she did, Elise is longing for a deeper connection to her spirit, but struggling to trust it. Together, they explore what it means to reclaim a spiritual self in a world that worships productivity, clear the fear of being too much or not enough, and ask, what if I'm already okay? Listen as Elise gently releases old family contracts, softens her inner judgment, and shows up in a space of innocent curiosity about who she's becoming. Let's dive in.
Hi, welcome to the
Hello.
podcast session.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. It's so nice to be with you. And I know that you're familiar with the work, so we're just going to dive in. And
Great.
if you're comfortable, I think I'll just take that moment to center myself and center us and get our space ready to begin. Yeah?
Yeah, great.
Okay, good. So taking the breath as you wish. Let's just invoke that this time is yours for your healing, for whatever ways in which I can show up, be present, listen, feel, and support your amazing life. So presumptuous that I called your life amazing, but for some reason, I just have this deep inner feeling of where life itself is amazing, and we can forget to appreciate and honor so much of the I don't know, so much of what it takes and the nature of who we are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say there isn't pain. So holding the complexities with you, holding all the dance, the journey, and closing up any circuits, not generative, not required, so that we can show up and be present and activate change and generate healing immediately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very curious for your intentions, how you think I could help today.
Yeah. I was thinking about that in the last couple of days, and there's so much going on for me right now. I feel like I could go in lots of different directions, but I was thinking like, okay, what feels like it's really connected to energy and being and spirit and soul. And I'm in a really big transition. I left my job that was very demanding and also offered a lot of identity, and also totally burnt me out. And then I went away specifically to do some healing, and feel like I have just some coming back with more awareness and clarity around sort of I guess, where I've been, but not necessarily where I'm going. And I'm just feeling sort of energetically stuck. Like I have, I really want this time, this like really precious time of pause to be about really discovering what, who I am, like reconnecting with myself and my soul purpose. And, and I feel like I've been feeling just sort of low energy and not feeling a lot of motivation. And I think that is because my spirit hasn't really been lit up. Like I feel like it's been just sort of dampened over the last few years for a number of reasons. And so I feel like I've got to create energy to feel energy, but again, I'm like just sort of feeling a little depressed on the in my energy field. And on one hand, I'm like, just do something, see how it feels, or like commit to something. And then on the other hand, I'm like, no, don't commit to anything, because this is the time where I just get to be free. And but I think I may be feeling like a little isolated and a little lost. And yeah, that's what I'm coming with today.
Okay. That feels like a good place to dive in. And this, like I'm just hearing, and when you're sharing, I'm hearing a number of things. And one is just the awkwardness when we create change and make room for ourselves. And yet, like, we don't have necessarily like the full pulse of where we're going.
Yeah.
And that, like you talked about, feeling like, oh, I know where I've been, but what does it mean to know where I'm going? And like, here I am in this moment, and it's, I don't know, I can relate to that in myself, times and places where I emptied the vessel and then I'm like, whoa, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
And it's awkward.
Totally.
So looking at that, and I love your orientation, like, is that a spirit, almost like a spirit depression? Is there a place where I'm just void of the fuel, like the essence of the drive, really, to know what's lighting up and how I can use myself to show up in this world and for this body. So,
yeah, totally. Yeah. I think that's that emptying definitely resonated. Like I'm like, I've been letting so much go,
right.
and yeah, like, what do I fill it with? Yeah.
Right. And that fear or trepidation of filling it with the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And like turning around and looking back and being like, oh, shoot, I should have X, Y, or Z, or having regrets or something like that. So I can feel something in there.
Yeah. And not feeling like I like, I'm trying not to grasp at this, but I can feel myself wanting these like clear messages from the universe. And I'm not getting them. And I think that this, the more that I sort of sit in that awkwardness, the less, maybe I think I'm being a little impatient with the whole process. And so I'm not like it just feels uncomfortable to really slow down and literally be still and listen. So
yeah, let's dive in there. I can feel some good energy on that. Let's just dive into that, the question that sits in, which is like, will I show up? Will I be there? Is the wisdom there? Will I find something in the grasping, as well as the impatience, as well as the flatness that can all be bound in a moment like this?
Yeah.
And before I do that, I just want to celebrate you for all the ways up until this moment you've gotten here to take care of yourself, to know what you need, to make choices that gave you support, really, in being able to get this level of discomfort on the table. And I really just feel in awe of all that you've done to make room for yourself. And let's see how we can help you birth through. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the celebration. I forget to do that sometimes.
Right. So, where do we want to go? So I'm going to dive into discovery. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
And I know that that means we're going into this asking of our questions and seeking and sitting and feeling into the subconscious and unconscious parts of our aware self. So, when did you decide that your spirit is, the word that comes in is maybe wrong? The wrong one, wrong for you, wrong for the world, or did you make any decisions along the way that something in the spirit of who you are is wrong?
Yeah, let me feel into that.
Yeah, take your time.
I think at a certain point, maybe it feels like when I was a child, which I know that's a lot of years. I maybe somewhere in like early adolescence, it started to feel like my spirit was less important than what I did. So who I was less important than what I did, and I started to notice that, I was good at a lot of things, and I wanted that felt good to get that positive reinforcement. So I feel like I started down that path of do the things versus be who you are.
Right. That makes sense. And create maybe a split that spirit was going to be different than what you're doing versus maybe having an orientation that it is the spirit that drives what you're doing.
Yeah. And just that the spirit, I grew up with a very non-spiritual household. So I think even that there was such a thing as a spirit wasn't acknowledged. And
then everything you knew already in pre-adolescence to adolescence about who you really are and what it means to be spiritual on this earth, that you had to either hide, destroy, put aside, make wrong, in order to be loyal, in order to be functional, in order to be safe in your family, right? That would all be on the table.
Totally.
So can we clear the energy around that so we can see what does it even look like to have it all now? It sounds like you want it all. You want a body that functions well, and you want a spirit that supports you, and you want them to merge and connect into your being and your essence, and embodied is the word I hear.
Yeah.
So let's clear any and all of the patterns that were early on created inside of you and around you to suggest that having your spirit might be dangerous because it ostracizes you. It puts you outside of the family. It makes you different in a way that could be confusing, painful, misunderstood, and or judged. Ooh, I got lots of shivers. And releasing injury recall and all of the conscious and unconscious and patterns created inside of family and in the community around you that supported you in separating away from your spiritual life force and into just being a functioning doer. Activate change and generate healing immediately. Let's take a deep breath if you want. And then a really long one of those maybe shake it off style exhales. Good. Okay, good. Anything coming up you want to share, or you want me to jump in with another question?
Yeah, I'm feeling some emotion, and I'm curious if that's just about how nice it feels to have yourself reflected back to you and to feel seen, or if there's something deeper in there. But I think it's mostly just the just acknowledging the truth and how that can feel I can move some things around.
Yeah. Well, let's breathe into it and allow you to take a moment to receive connection, validation, reflection of your experience in life. And I would suggest, if it's, again, if it's comfortable to you, to take 3 long breaths, maybe longer on your exhale, and let your parasympathetic nervous system integrate. There are people in this world that understand, see, feel, and hear your experience of life. All the things inclusive to what it has taken in order for you to be safe on this earth, in your body, with others, in family. All the choices you made, conscious or unconscious, to align with something in order to be successful even. All the attempts to thrive. And all of the rewriting and reorganizing that you've been doing to ask yourself, who am I now? And who will I become? And activate change and generate healing immediately. Yeah. I feel that with you, and feel the tears welling up in the back of my eyes. Yeah. What do you think? Like, is there still maybe like a contract you're breaking, or an agreement inside yourself you might have made, conscious or unconscious? There's something that needs to cord cut, or already has cord cut, that you need to acknowledge, that's about being you?
I think, I think I have some fears around like fully connecting with my spirit and like a spiritual person. Like people won't take me seriously. I'll sound like a nut job. That's what just came up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It happens. And sometimes people are really split out and delusional when they're in a spiritual space. Sometimes they're delusional when they're not spiritual, Yeah. But I think that we can be deemed, or like, I really appreciate you wanting your spiritual side without flipping those circuits either. Like, you don't want to go so far out of reality that you choose spirit over being a body and over being functioning in the physical reality you're in. Is kind of what I'm hearing and what you're saying.
Yeah. And I even just the world we live in, valuing the world of doing and producing over feeling and connection. And I think there's some fears around just like,
I just got such an awareness that popped in, and sometimes I interrupt to jump it in so we don't miss the energy of it.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I just backing up to, like, we're in such a world that values the doer, and it instantly brought me to this place of like, oh, right. You just did all this healing work in a very doing way. You went and made a choice. You went someplace. You took care of yourself. You did what you needed to do your healing. Not that you're going to stop doing healing, but like, there's something in there then coming home and moving into being, and where it may have polarized, like the fear of having more spiritual life. Like, you're sitting right in the conundrum of, well, I could keep doing, or I could go for my spirit. But does that mean if I go for my spirit, I can't do? And like, I'm hearing the split and sensing the confusion in the center of that. And the literally the terror, like, if I now choose to really allow myself to feel spiritual inside myself, am I giving up the other parts of life? Am I separating myself from both people, but also realities, that I still want to be a part of? So all of that's like coming to the table in this moment of emptying, this moment of change.
Yeah, totally. And like, wanting to be yeah, like some feeling around the way that I will be seen and accepted and is through the doing work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one way to be seen and respected and accepted, all of it. And can I just ask, like in your own kind of pristine consciousness of who you are and what you really know deep inside yourself, is it true that if you embrace your spiritual self, that you will be completely cut off from connection, from people, from acceptance in society or by others? Is that actually true at this stage?
No, it's not true. And there's some fear that's coming up for me around just like acceptance of this like different being, and whether like the people in my life will still like whether we'll still be friends if I start like talking about new things and doing new things. And
that's so fair. It's such a really important to feel the potential loss and change.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's so important to understand like, wow, I'm going to take a risk and allow myself to be more of my own nature. And I want to be cautious because I don't want you to split. Like I really want to look at that polarity where it goes extreme, right? Because it's like, you know, there are places, times, people that will put a certain kind of costume on and show up and be with and acclimate to those people to be able to stay in connection, or those circumstances or situations. That's very different than not being embodied in our spirit and in our essence. For me, there was a new entrainment that was sort of like, oh, wait a minute, I can completely know who I am as a spirit and an essence. And it doesn't mean it has to be either on or off. Like if it's not on 100% and I'm not putting it out there 100%, that I'm not really me. But I have a gauge, a discernment that says, oh, where can I show up and where can I bring more of myself and where can I also acclimate and bring the other parts of myself that are true too? And which relationships will I take the biggest risks in and which ones will I stay compatible to so that I can harmonize them and maintain my loyalty to certain parts of my family or certain parts of my friend circles, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a whole rainbow sherbet in between. I'm either on or off. Like I'm going to become me and I'm going to be so much me that I don't have any option anymore to like accommodate a situation that I might still want to be in.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you might lose people? Yeah. I mean, still it means that some people you won't be as close to as you might want to.
Yeah.
And that's probably true anyway. You haven't been as close as you've wanted to being the other way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like, can we just know that? Can we be okay with that reality?
Yeah.
Whew. So clearing all of the either ors and which trauma and oppression both bring, which split us into cycles where we think it's all or nothing. And what if being the spiritual essence of you is not an all or nothing choice? What if you can embody that spiritual essence and actually use it to help you show up in different moments, different situations, people, places, things as more or less of that? And then what would it take to want that spiritual essence as help and support in coping with the relationships of this world? And activate change and generate healing immediately. What does all that bring up for you?
I think part of the feeling a little stuck right now is, as you were talking about, like how I show up and what parts of ourselves we bring. And I think I've sort of got this, I do have this energy right now of like, oh, I'm like ready to like do something new and start this new chapter of my life. And I don't really like, I don't know where to put myself.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe the places and relationships that I have don't necessarily feel like the right places.
Right.
And so it's almost like, I think I feel some sadness about that, that like,
Yeah.
when people asked me if I was excited to be home, it was like, the answer was not really.
Right.
And so yeah, I think I am both like feeling this energy, not sure where to put it, sad, like maybe a little longing for belonging, and like, yeah, where do I
Right.
where do I put this? How do I be with this energy that I'm feeling with other people?
Yeah. Oh, it makes so much sense to me. You're making so much sense to me. There's a grieving when we change our identities. You tackled a whole entire identity of yourself that doesn't serve you, and you're building a new identity, and there's just grieving. Like the old you isn't there. You're not going to just put it back on. The things that you worked on, you worked on purpose because you need those changes, right? And I get it that when we build a new identity and we birth ourselves into our lives, we don't have a place yet. I mean, maybe you'll start to see more than you think, like the tiny little snippets of like, oh, wait, there's a spot that more of me belongs in. So let me nurture that. But we do have to grieve where we don't really fit into the boxes we're in.
Yeah.
And some of those, again, relationships will take risks in eventually and find that we fit more than we think. And a lot of them we might not. But it's a huge undertaking. And from my perspective, it's really kind of like a 3-year journey. Like I would want to give you a lot of space to say, you need time to really birth in so that we want to look back in 3 years and say, I've got it. Like I've got the people that are my people that understand me, that show up with me, that I show up for, that really know like this version of me. And not to wait 3 years to find them, but it takes that long to really build that, right? It's a new chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. A new book, really, of who you are.
Yeah.
So then I started to think, are you willing over this year to give yourself plenty of time and space to be surprised by the small and like sort of the tiny little nuggets of connection that begin to light up to show you where you do belong?
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you also willing to give yourself space and maybe even like maybe some sort of I don't know, a ritual, but not in the sense of like some big spiritual ritual as much as just a pattern where you can say, oh, once a week I'm going to take the time to grieve and to really acknowledge myself that the choice I made to change has also comes with loss. And that's just real. You're losing parts of you even that you're asking those to shift and dissolve. Yeah. So let's invoke that you have time and space, and any head trip that got in there or anybody's doing that got in there, or any urges to be fast and figure it out and think that it's all going to happen in the next 2 weeks or 2 months even, that we can debunk those. And we can breathe with you and say, babies are born and they take a long time before they learn to walk. And they take a long time before they learn to talk. And then there's more. And then there's more development. And your spiritual connection to you is really still newborn. You're still birthing and understanding and accepting and realizing what it feels like to be you. Not just what it is to be you, but what it feels like. And that you get to take the time to start to understand which music inspires you, what sounds, what places, what situations, what people, what lights you up, what will build you into the connection of you to you. And I encourage all of that. Like, what sounds do I like? What foods do I want to eat? Where do I want to be? Like, what situations really light me up? What is feeling inside of me like something I want more of? And activate change and generate healing immediately. Yeah, it's like being on a discovery on the honeymoon with yourself. Like, oh, could I take this time to get to know myself versus thinking I know something and I'm supposed to do it, but more, or I'm waiting, but more like, wait, it's a relationship I'm supposed to build.
Right. Yeah.
Inside myself, to me.
Yeah. 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 And I think something, you said something about, I can't remember your words, but like the resisting, me resisting this, like fully stepping into this relationship with my spirit and spirit, the spiritual world is probably not helping the this this absence of clear messages that I'm hoping for. I'm like wanting some clarity around my life's purpose. And I think the more that I don't know why this didn't occur to me until right now, but like the more that I resist that relationship,
right.
like of course I'm not
right. That's where they come from, by the way.
yeah.
Right. And you get to build a relationship and ask the questions. I love our discovery kind of lifestyle. For me, there's like discovery process as a session, and then there's the way I live in discovery. And there's times in my life where I put a question, like it's as if I put it in the circuit and I ask it 10 to 30 times a day just to be curious, without really looking for answers. But it's like walking around with like, what would it take for me to really know my inner wisdom? Or what would it take for me to receive the spiritual essence of myself and trust it? And like, you could pick a question and then live that, so that when you start to feel lost, confused, kind of flat, you can just bring the question to life. And ask it 10 times and say, oh, that's all I'm supposed to do right now is be curious. I really invite curiosity. I think it's going to feel way different than the assumptions. Usually, often, at least for me, it was so different than the assumptions I made about what I was going to feel like. I think you want to be surprised, right?
Yeah, totally. I want, I want to discover new things about myself that I didn't know. I want to discover like what I mean, something that kept coming up for me when I was away was just like, wow, when someone asked me like what my dream life would look like, I don't actually know. I don't know.
Right. And that could be daunting, but it's also kind of cool. It's like, wow, I get to find that out. That's amazing. So the spirit of curiosity, the spirit of wanting to know, the spirit of desire feels important. Like I want to imagine that you could wake up the desire to know, and that's as important as anything you learn. Because once we hit the part of our longing, it's soul speak longing. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I put this on hold my whole life. Like there's a part of me that does really want to know what's possible for me on this earth, and where I do belong and where my place is. Yeah. So for all the times, places, dimensions that you diminished your own longing, are you willing to inspire the curiosity and longing to be you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I also, and I know I can do this every day, but I want to like call in some support from the universe to help me find that.
Yeah. Let's, I might invite shifting it from calling it from the universe and shifting it to calling it from, like your own being, which is plugged into the universe, right? Yeah. So there's something in language that can be powerful when we're like, wait, I have an entire infinite source of being that's connected to the universe and my own relationship to God, divine, spirit, whatever I want to call that, and my body and this whole earth. And that what I'm asking is to light up my connection to that information, so that I'm not just getting a pile of information from someplace else, but I'm receiving that information from my own awakened knowing. Yeah. So you don't have to buy that, but like that worked for me a little bit better, because I felt I was dissociating a little bit. I'm like waiting for the universe or God, which seemed to be like something other than me, to like show up and do something. And yet I was trying to heal the part of myself that had abandoned myself on behalf of loving others. And I was like, wait, I have to be in the mix of that. It feels more healthier for me to be a part of that universal connection and not separate from.
Yeah.
So that may or may not help.
No, I think that will.
Yeah. So if your being is connected to the universe and this infinite, like if we are body, being, soul, spirit, communion, all of it, and your own spirit is, right there waiting to light up, connected to your own being, which is the fuel, the awareness, the connection energetically to all of life that feeds your body, that weaves through your soul. If your body, being, soul, and spirit were in total communion, what would your infiniteness, what would your being know that you need right now? Does anything come up?
One of those times where I just want that instant answer from the heavens. Rest.
Right. Let's clear that. Let's clear all the ways in which it's coming from the heavens. It's not. It's coming from deep inside the fabric and the tissues of your body.
Yeah.
You're right here. So let's clear all the ways in which it's something else talking to you. You've got this. This is you. You are asking yourself to light up for you on your behalf. So if your infinite being is you, and you are connected to the universe, and you have your own resource as a body to universe, to self, to this version of your life right now, what would you know right now in this moment about being you? And anything, any sensation, anything that comes up.
I think loving the person that I am today, and loving myself into wherever I'm going, even if I don't know where that is.
Yeah, let's clear all the ways in which it's you may be learning and anything that blocks you really from learning what it means to love yourself so deeply, to cherish, to care for, to like nurture awake and alive the way you would another being that you fall in love with, right? It's like, what does it take to really build this relationship where you're like, I get to learn me. I don't know me. I get to learn what it means to be my own channel of the universe. I get to feel what it feels like to understand my own spiritual nature and what it wants for my body on this earth and what my body wants to bring to it. So if your body, being, soul, and spirit, if they were all in communion and they were part of the universe, then the universe is part of you. What else would you know about being you right now? I just felt the slightest shift. What was that? It feels like it was so subtle and beautiful. What was that?
What came to me was, I'm okay.
I'm okay. Wow, you got yourself okay. Feel that. You would know right in this moment that, wait a minute, I'm actually okay. That is so powerful. It came in as like this, I felt like this, I just felt like this most delightful, gentle, like waterfall inside my chest, but it was like so subtle of just like, maybe I could exhale.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm okay. And if you knew you were okay, and you knew that these were just parts of things you want to learn, the discovery of life that you actually could long for and get excited about, and they're not problems to have. They're actually good. They're things you finally get to, like the eyes of a 2-year-old, you get to stand up and be like, I want to learn it all. I want to know what I like. I want to try on things and not like them. Like, what if you could bring that level of innocence to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I think with lots of like leaving the judgment.
Uh-huh.
There's always like just being curious without a judgment of like, that's a good thing or that's a bad thing or that's a
Yeah.
okay way to spend my time or not.
Right.
Yeah. Innocently curious.
Innocently curious. And the judgments will arise and fall and arise and fall. They're habits of every human brain I know. and some of us more. So I kind of feel like the judgments just get to wash over. And to me, like sometimes we'll take them more seriously. There's a returning, whenever we can, we get to remember like, oh, right, I'm resetting and returning to my innocence. That even with all that, the judgment is just part of being me. And just none of that's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And none of it's really wrong. It's all just part of the scope of being a body on earth and the complexity of being a body that wants connection. You've never given up on it. Some part of you wants to belong. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You could have just quit on that. Functioned just fine. But that's not what you want. You want to feel something more. You want more life, more aliveness, more spirit, more connection. And that is just the most profound reality that I've witnessed in you here. Like, oh, you still want it. That's beautiful. It didn't get broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's clear anything that blocks you from recognizing that even asking and talking about it means that you haven't given hope. And that some part of you does know that you have this incredible spiritual wisdom you can connect to. And that we get to put a realistic goals for the time it might take to build that relationship. But you get to take steps in your curiosity. You get to ask for accountability and support in that, how to show up and come back, return to that place when it gets hard or frozen or flat. And, what does it take to begin to build a new relationship to you? And activate change and generate healing immediately. Oof. It feels powerful. What do you feel like?
Yeah, I think I just that the feeling of being okay and working from there versus like I feel like the last 10 years I've been like digging at what's wrong with me.
Right.
And like trying to discover the one thing that is like will change everything if I discover it. And so yeah, just remembering that like working from that place of like feeling broken versus working from a place of and I'm going to replace working with being from a place of being okay. Like that's so much more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And you may have gotten broken by life in different ways. This is a kind of funny analogy, but I have a little tripod dog, and she got hit by a truck when she was 2. So she's missing a leg. And there's part of me that at some point was like, right, we're kind of like that, whether it's somebody else's fault or hers or whatever happened, life kind of hit hard and she's missing a part, that she has to acclimate and accommodate around forever. Like it doesn't grow back, and it also doesn't make her unhappy. Like she's really just, she accommodates and there's things that she'll do differently for her whole life because of it, whether she knows it or not. And that's all of us. Like we do get kind of broken and beat up by life sometimes and it hurts. And some of that shit we do to ourselves and some happens to us. And, understanding our brokenness can be helpful for a period of time. And then it's also helpful to be like, oh, that is like it's a pathological orientation if I stay there forever. And it misses the part that's like, but wait, every single coping skill you've had and did, whether those are things you think are messed up now or not, they were all really valuable. You're still alive. You're still here. You're still seeking. You're still wanting healing. Those are profound realities. And yes, there's an okayness you can now receive that says maybe from here I can grow because I want to, and not because I have to, and not because something's so wrong with me and that if I don't grow, I won't be okay. Right?
Yeah.
That feels profoundly different to me. And then we can accept that, sure, something might be broken in there that, life hit hard on. And that doesn't necessarily mean you can't have joy and happiness and be spirited and alive and also accommodate and show up and do the things you need to do for the world you live in, and you get to have it all. So what does it take to embrace, sure, the parts that are broken, but also to orient towards, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. Deep inside, I know I'm okay. And I'm seeking because I know somewhere in me that I deserve to feel the aliveness of being me. Some part of you knows that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get to learn and take steps and fall backwards and get up and activate change and generate healing immediately. That feels amazing.
It does feel amazing. My amazing life.
I know I started that way. I was like, I don't usually just start with that. But there was something that came in so strong right away, and the awkwardness. And I know we had our own funny awkwardness because I couldn't even get my podcast mic to work. But in the awkwardness of landing, it felt like all of life to me. I felt like there was messaging of like, okay, it's imperfect. It's messy. It might work. It might not work, and then here we are. And all I could feel was this beauty. When I tuned in on you, I felt like this amazing beauty of what a miracle it is that you're choosing to heal. And I, again, want to celebrate that in you, that I find it precious and I have awe that you're actually choosing. You're choosing your own healing, and that despite any evidence, you're still choosing to believe that your spirit and this universe of you and your knowing is there, and that it will light up and wake up and be you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of feels like the only option.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess, death is always an option, but that's never felt like
or people live sort of drugged or numbed or cause more dramas or act out in other places to avoid feeling things. I mean, there's a lot of options, right? The two extremes are to either live or die. And I appreciate that it's felt that extreme in you. It's like, either I'm going to live and do what I need to do, or I'm not. To me, that's soul speak, because it's the part of you that is naturally a healer, a seeker, somebody who wants to grow, is oriented in a growth way. That's just you. That's part of who you are. So living means you do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's spirit, by the way.
Yeah.
Just to not forget.
No,
that maybe your spirit is right here, stimulating and encouraging and inspiring you to continue to take the steps to live alive, to grow, to change and evolve. And so let's clear anything that blocks you from also recognizing and feeling the wins of who you are, and activate change and generate healing immediately. Thank you so much for this journey. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Just want to breathe in for a moment here and see if there's anything else you need from me before we close up.
There's an invocation that it's great grid activation, maybe. That one, I feel like I would love to receive that right now.
Great. I love that you know. Okay. So let's command the vibrational source. Oh, let me ask you first, which grid, if you were to liberate yourself from existing as a grid of some sort, which one do you want to liberate yourself from? And it's okay if you don't have a specific, but if you did, I'd love to aim it for you.
Yeah. Cultural, is that's one, yeah.
Like a societal one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So let's command the vibrational source of consciousness, which, by the way, is you and your own, for lack of better words, higher self and mine. So let's command the vibrational source of consciousness to liberate you from existing as the grids, constructs, structures, forms, beliefs, systems, identities, emotions, and spirits of the cultures around us, of society, of quote unquote other, and others' points of view or beliefs about being human. And let's liberate that from every single cell and particle of all of who you are and through all times, spaces, dimensions, and universes. Activate change and generate healing immediately. Whew. Oh my gosh, shivers all over. Yeah, that felt good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And let's do one more thing. Can I do one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
Let's command your body and being to release anything that's not yours and anything that's been indoctrinated consciously, unconsciously in you about what it means to be you and what it means to be happy and joyful and connected and belong on this earth. Whew. And let's command your body and being to release all of that and gift it to the vibrational source of consciousness. Activate change and generate healing immediately. Whew. And offering that this body, this being, this soul, this spirit, this earth divine you, that you are here and you know it or you wouldn't be asking these questions. And that every bit of what it means to plug into the universe is in you to know, to receive, to restore from its nature, from the injuries that have happened to bring into your alive experience. And activate change and generate healing immediately.
Whew. Yeah. Just had like a warm buzzing throughout my body.
Good.
Really energizing and nice. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much for being with me on the ride.
Yeah, thank you.
I look forward to more.
Me too. Thank you, Gabrielli.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for being a part of the Activate Change community. If you want even more amazing content, head over to lachiaramethod.com. And while you're there, be sure to join our email list so you don't miss a thing. You'll get instant access to our ultimate self-care bundle to clear your energy, boost your vitality, and feed your soul, plus exclusive content, special invites to live events, and personal updates we don't share anywhere else. We're so grateful to be on this journey with you. See you next time.
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Saying a huge thank you to Ali Halpert, the incredible musician and songwriter behind the songs featured in this podcast. To hear more of Ali's music and learn more, visit alihalpert.com. You can find the link in our show notes.